it's fair. We're all from Jackson Tennessee, which you know already, so we'll just get right to it.
No problem.
So, we were all introduced to you in 2005.
Yes.
And this is 2018.
Yes.
And so much has happened from that time to now. So, from your own words, with whatever you want to tell us what happened from that time to where you are right now.
Okay. So the accident happened when I was 16 years old in 2005, December. And it was a plane crash that happened in Port Harcourt Airport. It was something that basically became one of the biggest tragedies that Nigeria has ever had to face because of the amount of lives that were lost at the time, especially the amount of young lives that were lost. I was heading home for Christmas with 60 other students from my school, Loyola Jesuit College in Abuja, and we boarded the same plane to go towards the eastern part of Nigeria, which is where most of us lived in. So the flight was normal, everything was normal. That entire day was normal up to the point when the plane started to malfunction. So there was nothing to indicate that anything weird was going to happen. But after about 20 minutes to landing, when the pilot makes the announcement that the plane will be landing soon, that was when the plane started to have issues. And the turbulence became very exaggerated, very dramatic. People started to panic in the plane, and the woman that screamed on the back kind of made everyone full-blown panic. And I remember just being in shock at what was going on. I remember just wondering, is this reality right now? You know, it was a very removed, third-person kind of scenario where I was watching everything happen from this point, a different point of view. And I remember I had a very close friend who was sitting next to me, and she was just as afraid as I was. And I held her hand, and my next memory is really just this metal scraping sound, which I have no idea what the origins of that were. And then I was waking up in the hospital in South Africa 5 weeks later. So that was I guess I passed out at that point, and I was in a coma until I woke up in South Africa. And from there, I started to have emergency treatments, because South Africa was where I got, the treatment that basically saved my life, essentially, and kept me away from the brink of death. And it was probably the most painful part of this entire journey, honestly. But then after that, I came back to Nigeria, and then Shell organized me to be able to go to America for reconstructive surgery. And from there, I just kind of built my life there with my family, and have been there ever since.
That's good.
Yeah.
So you have you went to school.
Yes.
You got a degree.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting an MBA.
Correct.
And then AGT happened. So tell us about AGT.
Yeah.
Why AGT? How that happened, and all of that.
Okay. Well, honestly, clearly, from just the different choices I'd made regarding what I want to do in my future, I had this goal to join the corporate world and to be in business. I have a vested interest in economics, and so I studied that in undergrad all the way into my MBA as well. I specialize in that, still am, and I intended to go full force with a PhD and possibly teach economics, get tenure, and maybe hopefully work in the UN. I had these big dreams, and I still do, actually. But that was the path I was on, very straightforward. AGC just kind of came out of the blue, and just swooped in, and that kind of just took over. And it was interesting because it actually wasn't a choice I made myself. Usually I plan everything, but this kind of came out of nowhere. It was a friend who signed me up, a friend that had been telling me that I needed to do something with my life with this singing, that she was just sick and tired of me singing all the time to her, do something with it. So one day she just signed me up for she's the online application, and signed me up, and then I got a phone call from them telling me that they saw my application.
Darling, I will be loving you till we're 70.
And I remember just being shocked that anybody even saw me out of the millions that apply every year. And from there, it kind of just took off from there, really. My friend and I were both shocked. And then they started to ask me to come back and forth, from LA to Texas to film, to record, to audition, because you audition to audition. And then before I knew it, I was actually on TV. It was all very surreal and kind of happened really quickly. but I try to live every moment. I try not to let it just rush past me, because it was something very unique. You know, not everyone gets a chance to go through something like that or experience something like that. So I really wanted to soak it all in, and always have to remind myself to just enjoy these moments, you know, rather than being carried away by the competition itself, which I'm really happy to say I was able to do. So every moment that I went through to the next round was a shock. I just always assumed as I stepped out on stage that would be my last time on that stage. So it helped me to really appreciate every single step, you know, and I'm really grateful that it happened. I'm grateful for Wumi for doing that for me.
She's your best friend for life,
oh, she's obviously my best friend for life. Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely.
So like, you're basically like Nigeria's people. Like everyone is eating food. First time I heard of you was like Crash, like and then disappeared for a while.
Yeah,
obviously.
true.
And came back to national consciousness with the whole AGT thing and how you got something. How was it like in terms of, because a lot of people have actually tried, like Nigerians anyway, the X Factor, AGT in America, they don't quite go far.
Yeah.
And you actually went all the way to the finals. Like that's really impressive. How was that process for you? In terms of like the people, that actual English, because they're doing something similar stuff here. It's not that level. How was it?
So before I actually became a part of America's Got Talent, I was watching The Voice Nigeria, and I really enjoyed, the fact that we had something like that, here, because there's a lot of amazingly talented people, and, you get to see that everyone, like, so many people can sing, and, it's just really amazing to see that kind of, rather, what was interesting for me was just that interest in that part of the world, that part of, that kind of industry. We're very focused on like business, engineering, doctor. It's very interesting that people are now, understanding that there are other strengths that people can have, young people can have. And so I really like that, so I used to follow it a lot. And then AGT happened for me. And I was aware that, there are a lot of Nigerians that have, tried for competitions like this abroad. And so that made it even more special, the fact that I was able to get as far as I did. Nigerians have always been a big support for me, a big reason why I'm able to do the things that I do and step forward confidently in my life onto different paths. From, like you said, from the accident, I mean, it's just been this huge following of people who are wishing me well, praying for me, encouraging me. And it's been like that ever since the accident. So even when I was in America, through Facebook, I was able to keep in touch with these people, and it became this huge community of tens of thousands of people that are following me and always watching out for my next post and encouraging me. And so I felt like every step I was taking in my life, every journey, mini journey in the journey, they were all with me, following me, rooting for me. So that's why when America's Got Talent happened, it kind of took off as fast as it did, because there was already that number of people who were supporting me in my life. So they were just ready to, embark on this new journey with me. So I really didn't feel alone at all, going on it. With respect to just, the difference between how things are there and how, the music industry is here, well, that particular kind of, competition, I think we definitely have room to grow for sure. Watching just the way that they do things over there, there's a lot to be said for how long they've been doing it, and they've had time to become more professional about it, and some things have become standardized, some things have become the way we do things. And I think with just time, we'll be able to get to that point. Everything starts from somewhere. I feel like, another thing too is the amount of the turnover. So essentially, if someone wins, how big do they actually get? How much reception do people just like watch the show and then they're done, or does something happen? And I feel like the people in that show play a big role in whether or not the person that wins actually blows, because if you don't help and support after they win and take them on tour, promote them online, people will just forget, and because other things will come up in life. So I think we need to that's probably the one thing I would say we need to work on, is making sure that whoever it is that wins, or even top 3, top 5, they can get the attention that they deserve, because they've worked hard, and then hopefully, get a record deal and then get music out there, So I think support, post show is very important, So
it kind of takes me back to the thing you were saying about Nigerians. There's a question I wanted to ask. I sense that there's this Nigerian factor. There's just something about Nigerians outside Nigeria and the kind of support that they get.
True.
And I sense that from what you were saying, that Nigeria was like this big community just backing you up. I want you to talk more a bit about that and possibly what other people can do to harness that Nigerian factor.
You mean when they're out?
When they're out there
representing?
Because I feel like artists like Wizkid are really, really big today because they're Nigerian. And because they're like massive, there's a massive following.
Yeah, there is.
Pushing them on, and you know, they're so excited. Wizkid and Drake did a song, it's like, we did a song.
Yep. I think really it's about the person and how much, like, it depends, like when people can see how much you want to represent your country, because you know it's one thing to go out there and do you, and that's great, but then there's a lot of people who basically want to have that success and achieve what they want to achieve without that label of being Nigerian or that connection. You know, maybe they don't really emphasize much on it, you know. But I feel like people who get that kind of support are people who are very outwardly proud of who they are, despite the bad things that we know that, you know, Nigeria is known for, unfortunately, worldwide. You know, it still doesn't take away that innate factor of being who we are, and we taking pride in that, like you said, the Nigerian factor, and that thing that it's what makes it unique, you know. And there's a mentality too that comes with being Nigerian. When you know, there's a pride that we have in it, and if you're out there doing your thing and you're also making sure that you kind of understand, you know, that this is mostly like at least me being Nigerian, you know, plays a role in what I am, then people back you immediately, I think, you know. So I think, I mean, honestly, there's never been moments when I've tried to, you know, deny where I'm from, or where I've shown that I'm not proud of where I'm from, you know. And I always, even no matter who I'm talking to, and no matter what the audience is, I always make it a point to, not really make it a point, it's just part of who I am. I talk about, you know, how I am Nigerian, or like back where I'm from, you know. Even when people try, you know, to say I'm from Houston, I emphasize that, well, I'm actually Nigerian, but I live in Houston, you know, so Houston is my second home. Just things where I'm trying to also make sure that no matter what, you don't lose the fact that of where I'm from in the mix. Yeah, I think that we just appreciate that a lot, you know. When we see that, we like that, oh yeah, this person is out there representing. And then when it's a good thing too, we don't get a lot of those, so we're happy to latch onto something good that would just anything that can push a good image out there for people to see. So I think that's pretty much what it would be. I think, you know, just, you know, embracing the Nigerian factor and doing good things, representing your people with good things.
So like last year, 2 big things for America's Got Talent, and all the because we're going to see some class.
Yes, that's true.
So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So that's open 2 different things for you, and I don't like, you were clearly more serious about the business aspect.
Yes, I was.
Before this music.
Definitely.
How has that changed things for you? Like that balance.
Yes, drastically, for sure. Music has always been my first love. It's always been what I love to do, and I did it. It was part of my therapy as a burn survivor. It became my escape, my distraction, but I never considered doing it as a career, just because I felt like I didn't have that wow factor. I really felt like I need to really stand out to be able to, you know, do something good with just a voice. You know, if I don't have an instrument backing me, I don't write music, you know, just like, it just seemed too competitive for me to even like put my head in there. But then America's Got Talent kind of gave me this platform and showed me that people are receptive to education. I don't want to give up this new path that, you know, I've started to embark on. So I'm really, really struggling trying to juggle both. I am right now, actually, you know, I'm still taking my MBA class. Although I've gone down, I've reduced the workload so I can accommodate this other new part of my life. But at the same time, I do wonder about what my plan is, you know, after I graduate with my MBA. Like, okay, so what are you going to do? Or what if at that point in time I have music and I'm touring, by God's grace? Am I going to, you know, give that up to, you know, get a job in like the World Bank or something? These are questions that I really worry about. It gives me a lot of anxieties, but I try my best to remember that I didn't do this myself. Yeah. I didn't get on this path with music myself. So since it wasn't me and it was a whole God thing, then he probably had to plan somewhere there. So my job is just to believe in him and then just do things as they come, right? Yeah, so, but to answer your question straightforwardly, I mean, definitely a new path. Consider like music as a career is a thing that I'm definitely trying to work on now. Yeah, so.
Do you see yourself like, are you going to be more in America or here? Because
that's
you can
question,
take
yeah.
it to rough music beats.
Yes,
here,
yes.
Like, you already have the voice, you have the brand. So how
thank
do you see you as a ballad person from what I saw?
Yeah, good point, yeah.
So do you think, like, to what extent do you think that's going to change moving here? Or how's it?
Okay, so that's actually really, I think it would be very difficult to stick to one, you know, at a time. I think my best move would be to merge the two. Okay. So while you're exactly right, I'm definitely a ballad kind of person, but I don't have to lose there can be still a Nigerian element to it, like in the way that I deliver the lyrics, you know, or the way that the melody hits the ear. You know, there's just a certain thing that makes it a beat Nigerian, even though it's a ballad, that I can still tap into, and I don't want to let go of that possibility. So I guess it would depend on what kind of beats I'm working with, and you know what kind of producer I'm working with. But I'm open to one or the other, or a merger of both too. But I really, even if I'm doing a song that sounds very American, you know, so to speak, I'm not going to be promoting it in that sense. You know, it's going to be something hopefully like I can do globally while still maintaining the fact that, okay, it's a Nigerian singer singing this song versus, oh, it's, you know, just someone singing an American song, yeah. So I hope that I'm able to explore both for sure. I mean, I love Nigerian music, so it would be so amazing for me to be able to actually sing Nigerian music, yeah. So I'm happy to merge the two for sure, yeah.
I'd rather stand tall than live on my knees, 'cause I am a conqueror and I won't accept defeat.
Okay, so from where we left off, there's a question I wanted to ask, like, to everyone watching the live feed and to everyone that will watch this video subsequently. What is your message, you think? Because now you're almost like a veteran. You've entered the pool of music, you're sort of finding your feet, but you've tasted a bit of the music juice, right? And what would be the one thing that you think of that musicians coming up, or even artists right now, I know that would be bold to say, but like artists right now, what do you think they need to look out for? What's that thing that they need?
Well, yeah, not to sound like any kind of pro or anything, but so far, you know, I've learned a few things that are necessary when you want to enter into this world or into this industry. And one thing is that you definitely need a great support system made up of family, friends, who will keep you grounded, because you don't want to ever lose your head and think that, oh, you're all that, or just lose your head in a negative way, you know, kind of being too anxious or being too insecure. There are people around you that can, you know, help to support you mentally and help you to stay on the path, because you're going to face a lot of negativity too. So you need that. You also need a professional support system too. You know, you need to have good representation, great lawyers, because I mean, we can't underestimate the fact that, you know, going out there without like that kind of support is just to go out blind. A lot of people are good, but also a lot of people are bad, and they will try to take advantage of you. And you definitely need, you know, a group of professionals, you know, who can help to, you know, keep those people at bay and also give you insights on how to deal with those kind of people too. And also make sure you're getting the best deal for yourself, because you're also trying to, you know, make money and make a career out of this thing. So yeah.
I think it's very important. Yeah, and just like to leverage on that point, I don't know why artists have this issue with like professional support. So like, oh, I don't need an accountant. The one that is common, I don't need a lawyer. I don't know where that idea came from. Maybe they think we're like scary monsters, but obviously we're not. So, but like definitely that support system is so.
Oh yeah, it was the first, like that was one of the first key pieces of advice I got after the show. Actually, they were like, get yourself an agent, get yourself a lawyer. You need and I was like, okay, that sounds really important. And this was from the show, AGT, from the producer on the show. So yeah, it's definitely something that's important. You think it's not, but then until you now actually need one in the moment, then it's like you don't have anyone to call or to email, you know. And I just feel like just do it and get out of the way so that you can always have that to fall back on. So that if you feel like you're wondering if something ain't right, you have someone who can look at something and be like, yeah, you're right. Your instincts were right, you know. So yeah, it's definitely helpful.
Going back to what we were saying earlier, you said ancient Nigerian space. I'm like, who are you looking at here? Like, the space has gotten very interesting. There are lots of people like there's like people that are lawyers and engineers, and music engineers, and they're all doing music, they're doing like, creative things actively at the same time. It's literally like, it's not 95, it's like, everyone is doing the same. And so, like, the kind of music that is even being made has changed. And so, like, when you're talking about Afrobeats, you really, let me use Pangolo music. I think everyone understands.
Yes, we all know,
Like, the loud noise. It's even changing. It's changing in that regard.
Yeah, it is.
So, like, which kind of artists are you looking to? Like, what kind of producers are you looking at? Do you have anyone an idea?
Yeah. That I really like. Yeah. Well, definitely my favorite Nigerian artist has always been Tiwa Savage. I just like the sound that she comes out with. I like, obviously I love Wizkid. I think he's really amazing and very creative. But when it comes to vocalists, you know, I really like Omawumi. I feel like she has a very familiar sound, and I feel like if I ever did, you know, Nigerian music or music with Nigerian feel, so it would kind of sound similar to hers and her sound. I love her vocals, you know, yeah. And so those are people that I kind of look at a lot. And I also like YJ a lot too. And I'm a very obvious, for obvious reasons, I'm very into vocals. You know, I like when people can, you know, do things with their voice, and I feel like you can make anything work with your voice, and so I respect that a lot. So if I ever got a chance to work with any Nigerian artist, it would be any of those I just mentioned, for sure. Yeah.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us. It's been awesome having you.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoy the rest of your stay in Australia.
Thank you guys for having me.
And we're looking out for you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.